The night was cold and the city was made of metal. Giant towers touched the smoky sky, covered in lights that blinked like dying stars. Robots and aliens moved through the dirty streets, throwing garbage into large, glowing pits. The air smelled like oil and acid rain. A truck stopped beside a trash pit. Two alien workers jumped down. Their skin was green and rough, and they spoke in a language full of clicks and growls. They pulled something out of the truck, a small bundle covered in an old blanket. "It's still moving," one of them said with disgust. "Then crush it," the other replied. "It's vermin. Nothing worth saving." They threw the bundle into the pit. It landed with a soft sound among the broken metal and burning waste. The truck drove away, its red lights fading into the rain. Silence followed. Then from inside the blanket something moved. A weak hand pushed through the cloth. A small girl slowly lifted her head. Her face was pale, covered in dirt and blood. Her eyes, human eyes, shone faintly under the neon light. She didn't know where she was. She didn't remember who she was. Her breath came in small, painful gasps. Around her, the trash pit burned quietly. Sparks floated in the air. She whispered, "Help, please." But no one came. No one in this city helped creatures from the trash. Above her, a massive screen played news for the aliens of this world. Zerath 9, a planet of steel and smoke. The news voice said, "All humans have been extinct for 500 years. The Great Purge is complete. No human life remains." The girl's hand trembled. She didn't understand the words, but something inside her heart hurt when she heard human. Suddenly, thunder rolled across the sky. Acid rain began to fall. The drops burned her skin, making her cry out softly. She crawled under a piece of metal to hide. Her small body shook with fear and cold. Time passed. The rain stopped. The city lights flickered. From the shadows, an old alien scavenger walked into the pit. His name was Ro. He was tall, thin, and covered in mechanical parts. His right arm was made of metal and sparks. He searched the garbage for machine parts to sell. When his scanner beeped, he stopped. "Strange. Living signal in the trash?" he muttered. He lifted the metal sheet and froze. A pair of tired eyes stared back at him. The girl tried to speak, but no sound came out. "What are you?" he asked. She whispered one word. "Cold." Ro blinked. He had seen many strange creatures, but none like this one. Her face looked soft and organic, not alien. Her eyes were round and filled with pain. Something in her made him feel guilty. He sighed. "You'll die here," he said. "Maybe that's better for you." He turned to leave, but as he took a step, a small hand caught his metal leg. Weak fingers held tight. Her eyes looked at him, not with anger, not with fear, but with silent pleading. He stopped. For the first time in years, he felt something human inside him. Pity. "Fine," he said softly. "Don't say I didn't warn you." He lifted her carefully and carried her out of the pit. The rain began again as they walked through the neon streets. Other aliens looked at him with disgust. "Why carry trash?" One said, "She's vermin." Another shouted. Ro ignored them. He took her to his small workshop, a broken building filled with machines, wires, and half-dead lights. He placed her on a table and gave her water. She drank slowly, eyes full of fear. "What's your name?" he asked. She looked confused. I don't know," Ro frowned. He scanned her with a small device. The screen flickered, then froze. A red warning flashed. Biological anomaly detected. Species, human. Status, extinct. Ro's metal hand shook. "Impossible," he whispered. "You can't be human. Humans are long gone." The girl stared at him. "What is human?" she asked quietly. Ro didn't answer. His mind raced. If the city guards found out, she'd be taken away, or worse. The government hated the idea of humans. To them, humans were monsters of the past, destroyers of worlds. He turned off the scanner quickly. "Listen, kid," he said, his voice rough but low. "You stay quiet. Don't go outside. If they see you, you're dead. Got it?" The girl nodded weakly. Her eyes began to close from exhaustion. Ro sat beside her, thinking. "What kind of world throws a living child into the trash?" he muttered. Then, suddenly, the lights in the workshop flickered. The machines around them began to hum. The air grew warm. Ro looked around. "What now?" He saw it, a faint blue glow under the girl's skin. It started at her chest and spread through her veins like lightning. The machines responded. One by one, they powered on. Screens turned white, showing symbols he had never seen before. The girl's eyes opened, glowing for a moment with strange golden light. Rose stumbled back. "By the stars," a soft voice echoed in the air, not from her mouth but inside both their minds. "Wake up, human." The glow faded. The workshop fell silent again. The girl was asleep, breathing softly. Rose stood frozen, sweat running down his face. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know what she could become. But deep down he felt it. This child, this so-called vermin, could change everything. He looked at her one last time and whispered, "What are you, little one?" Outside, the city roared, unaware that in a small workshop under the neon rain, the last human had just awakened. When Ro woke up, the workshop was silent. The girl was still asleep on the table, wrapped in a blanket of old wires. Outside, the metallic city was waking, machines humming, sky glowing red from the rising twin suns. He looked at her again. The blue light that had glowed under her skin last night was gone. She looked normal now, too normal. Her breathing was soft, almost peaceful. Ro rubbed his metal arm nervously. "What did I just bring into my life?" he muttered. He turned to his scanner again. The memory chip still showed the message from last night. Species, human. Status, extinct. He replayed it again and again, not believing his eyes. He had read about humans in old history chips. Warm-blooded creatures who built empires, who created art and war, who vanished in the Great Purge 5 centuries ago. The alien said humans destroyed themselves with greed and machines. But now one was sleeping on his table. The girl opened her eyes slowly. For a moment she looked afraid. "Where am I?" "You're in my workshop," Rose said. "Safe for now." She looked around. The walls were full of broken machines, blinking lights, and the smell of smoke. "Who are you?" she asked. "Name's Ro," he said simply. "I fix junk." "I don't usually fix people." She sat up weakly. "What, my name?" Ro hesitated. "You don't remember anything?" She shook her head. "No, only—" Darkness, cold, then light. And a voice. Ro felt a chill. "A voice?" She nodded slowly. It said, "Wake up, human." Ro froze. That word again, human. He went to his control desk and pulled out a small data orb. When he touched it, holograms filled the air. Images of ancient humans. They looked like her. Same eyes, same skin, same fragile body. "That's what you are," Ro said. "A human." She stared at the images, whispering the word like it was magic. "Human." He turned off the orb. "You don't know how dangerous that is to say. In this city, humans are forbidden even in stories. If they find you, they'll take you to the labs." "The labs?" she asked. He nodded grimly. "They cut things open there, to learn how they work." The girl's small hands trembled. "Why would they do that?" "Because they fear what they don't understand," Rose said softly. "And you're something they'll never understand." Hours passed. Ro tried to repair an old drone, but his mind kept drifting to the girl. He could hear her humming quietly, trying to mimic the tune from a broken radio. It was soft and human, something this cold city hadn't heard in centuries. He sighed. "You'll get me killed, kid." Suddenly, a loud alarm blared outside. Red lights flashed through the windows. Ro ran to the door. Across the street, armored guards marched in formation. Their leader spoke through a metal speaker. "Attention, citizens. A biological anomaly was detected last night. If you see any creature resembling ancient human life, report immediately." Rose's stomach dropped. "They're already looking for her." He turned back. The girl was hiding under the table, eyes wide with fear. "Ro, are they coming for me?" He grabbed his tools and stuffed them into a bag. "Maybe we need to move." "But I can't walk far," she whispered. Ro knelt beside her. "Then I'll carry you again. But this time we don't stop until we reach the Undercity." They slipped out through a side tunnel as sirens echoed across the district. The streets were full of drones scanning for life signatures. Ro covered the girl with his old coat, hiding her face. They moved through narrow paths between junk walls and steaming pipes. Every shadow felt like an eye watching them. The girl clutched his sleeve tightly. "Why are they hunting me?" she asked. "Because you're proof they lied," Ro said. "They told everyone humans were gone forever. You being alive means their history is a lie, and lies are dangerous." She looked up at him. Then why are you helping me? Ro hesitated. Because once, long ago, humans saved my people. My ancestors were dying and a human doctor gave them a cure. Maybe I owe your kind something. The girl smiled faintly. Then maybe I'm not vermin. Ro almost smiled back. Maybe not. As they reached the edge of the industrial zone, the air grew heavy with fog. A massive bridge connected to the lower levels of the city, the Undercity, a place of outlaws and forgotten machines. Ro tapped his wristband, trying to open a passage door. But before the gate unlocked, a cold mechanical voice echoed behind them. Unauthorized organic detected. Surrender now. Ro turned. A squad of silver drones floated closer. Red eyes flashing. Run, he shouted. The girl hesitated. But Ro pushed her forward. Move. They ran across the bridge as lasers fired behind them. Sparks flew, metal cracked. The girl screamed as a beam hit the ground beside her. Keep going, Ro shouted. The bridge ahead exploded. A drone blocked their path. Trapped, Ro raised his arm, using his built-in plasma tool to fight back. He blasted one drone, but more came. A laser hit his shoulder. He fell hard, smoke rising from his metal arm. The girl crawled to him. Ro, he looked at her, his vision fading. Listen to me. Run. Don't stop. Find the Undercity tunnel. I won't leave you, she cried. Go, he shouted, his voice breaking. You're human. Your hope. Tears filled her eyes. She turned and ran, the sound of her bare feet echoing on the metal floor. Behind her rose plasma bursts and explosions filled the air. When she reached the tunnel, she looked back one last time. The bridge was on fire. She whispered through her tears, I'll come back for you. Then she disappeared into the darkness. Far above the burning city, in a silent orbiting satellite, an ancient system flickered awake for the first time in centuries. Signal detected, it said in a human voice. DNA pattern, Homo sapiens. Activating? Project Eden. The tunnel was dark, narrow, and endless. Metal pipes ran along the walls, dripping with water that smelled like rust. The girl's bare feet splashed through puddles as she ran, her breath sharp and fast. Behind her, the sound of alarms echoed through the city. Deep, metallic, and full of anger. She didn't look back. She couldn't. Her small body ached, her heart pounding like a drum. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Ro, falling, burned, shouting for her to run. The image stayed in her mind like fire. Ro, she whispered between breaths. I'll come back for you. I promise. The tunnel curved downward, leading into the lower layers of the city, a maze where light never reached. When she reached an opening, she stopped to catch her breath. Ahead of her was a massive Undercity. Endless towers of broken machines, neon fog, and moving shadows. It was alive in a strange way, humming with forgotten energy. She stepped out carefully. The ground vibrated under her feet. Old advertisement screens blinked on the walls, showing strange words she couldn't understand. Humanity created. Humanity destroyed, she looked up. The city above her stretched like a cage of iron stars. Then from the shadows came a low growl. Her heart froze. She turned slowly. 3 alien scavengers crawled from the dark. Their skin was gray and rough, their eyes red. They smelled blood, fresh meat, one hissed. How did vermin get this deep? She stepped back, her hands shaking. Please. I don't want trouble. They laughed, their teeth sharp and yellow. You already found it. One of them lunged forward. She screamed and stumbled back, falling against a pile of junk. Something inside her chest pulsed. A strange warmth spreading through her veins. The scavenger grabbed her arm and instantly screamed. His hand sizzled as blue light flashed from her skin, burning him. He jumped back, eyes wide. What are you? The others hesitated. The glow spread across her body, faint but alive. Her fear was turning into something else. Power. She didn't understand what was happening, but she felt it, something inside her waking up, something old. She whispered, Leave me alone. The air around her shimmered. The junk pile behind her rattled. Pieces of metal floated slightly, drawn to her energy. The scavengers looked terrified now. She's not normal. Run. They vanished into the fog, leaving her alone again. The blue light faded slowly, leaving her breathing hard and confused. She looked at her hands, they were shaking. What am I? Hours later, she found shelter in an abandoned transport station. The walls were covered with human words, then faded signs that said, "Welcome, exit, Metro Line 7. She didn't know what those words meant, but they felt familiar. She curled up on the cold floor, exhausted. For a while she just listened, to the quiet hum of broken machines, to the soft whispers in her head. Then she heard it again, that voice from before. Calm, clear, not her own. "You are not alone, human." She sat up quickly. "Who's there?" "Your signal has been received," the voice said. "I am watching." "I am coming," her eyes widened. You can hear me?" "Yes. You are the last of your kind. You must survive." She looked around, but there was no one, only flickering lights and silence. "What are you?" she asked. "Project Eden," the voice said. "Created by your ancestors to protect you." The lights above her flickered once more. Then the voice faded, leaving her trembling. "Protect me?" she whispered. "From what?" A loud crash answered her question. The station gate burst open. Metal drones flew in, red lights scanning. "Target located," a robotic voice said. "Capture alive!" Her heart jumped. She ran again, sprinting through the tunnels. The drones fired nets and lasers that exploded behind her. The air filled with smoke and sparks. She ducked under pipes, jumped over cables, her feet burning on the hot floor. A beam grazed her shoulder. She cried out but kept running. "Stop!" The drones shouted. "Surrender!" But she didn't stop. She couldn't. She reached an elevator shaft, the floor gone, only a deep drop into darkness. Behind her, the drones closed in. She looked down. It was a long fall. She took a deep breath. "I am human," she whispered. Not out of fear, but out of something new. Defiance. Then she jumped. Wind rushed past her. The world spun. For a moment she thought she was flying. Then her hand brushed against a hanging cable. Instinct made her grab it. Sparks burst, electricity shot through her, but she didn't die. Instead, the current merged with her pulse. The blue light in her body flared again, brighter this time. The entire shaft filled with energy. She landed hard but alive, the glow fading slowly from her hands. "Human detected," a distant voice said again, the same one from the sky. She lay there shaking. "Ro was right," she whispered. "They'll never understand me." Above her, the drone scanned the shaft but didn't see her body. The blue light had stopped. They moved away. She sat up, breathing deeply, surrounded by darkness. But in that darkness, something new was inside her. Strength. She looked at her glowing fingertips and whispered, "Maybe being human means not giving up." Then, from deep in the city, a faint explosion shook the ground. She looked toward the sound. Something was coming, something that had heard her signal. Deep below the metal city, the world was asleep. Pipes dripped. Gears turned slowly. Machines that hadn't worked in centuries hummed for a moment, then stopped again. And in that silence, something changed. A pulse spread through the air, invisible, but powerful. It came from a single heartbeat. Hers. The girl stood in the darkness of the old transport shaft, staring at her glowing hands. The blue light inside her skin was fading again, but she could still feel the energy moving inside her chest like a second heart, quiet but alive. She didn't understand it. She only knew one thing: she wasn't normal. Far above the planet, a forgotten satellite drifted in orbit. It had been silent for hundreds of years, covered in dust and cosmic ash. Then, for the first time in ages, one of its lights blinked. Signal detected. Source human DNA. Codeword Eden Protocol. Inside the satellite, old systems came alive. Screens lit up with human symbols. A soft voice, calm and female, spoke for the first time in centuries. Human life confirmed. Preparing reactivation. The AI that once guarded humanity was awake again. Back in the city, the girl wandered through the tunnels. Her clothes were torn, her feet bleeding, but her mind was full of strange images. Faces she had never seen, cities she had never lived in, stars that didn't exist anymore, memories that weren't hers. She pressed her hand to her chest. "Who am I?" Her voice echoed through the tunnel. No answer came, and only the soft hum of machines. Then she heard footsteps. She froze, hiding behind a pipe. The steps grew louder, metal boots slow and careful. A flashlight beam swept across the walls. A group of rebels entered. Aliens wearing old armor, their faces tired but kind. The leader, a tall alien woman with silver skin, looked around. "She's close," she said. The scanners picked her signal again. The girl stayed silent. Her heart beat faster. "Don't be afraid," the woman called softly. "We're not from the government. We help the lost ones." The girl hesitated, then stepped into the light. The woman gasped. "It's true. She's real," the others whispered among themselves. "A human? After all these years?" The leader knelt beside her. "I'm Lyra," she said gently. "You don't have to run anymore. We've been waiting for someone like you." "Waiting? For me?" the girl asked. Lyra nodded. "Our ancestors believed that when a human heart beats again, the old world will wake, and maybe it's already happening." The girl looked confused. "What do you mean?" Lyra turned her wristband toward her. It showed strange signals on the screen. "Since you appeared, strange energy has been rising from the sky. Satellites turning on, ships sending old Earth codes. Something big is happening." The girl looked up at the ceiling. Through the layers of metal and dust, she could feel something watching her. Far above, the AI's voice grew stronger. "Human signature confirmed. Initiating beacon." A wave of blue light spread through space. Every alien radar on the planet detected it. Panic began to spread. In the government towers, the alien council shouted commands. "Find the source. Destroy it before it spreads." In the city below, the alarms returned, louder, brighter, endless. Lyra pulled the girl by the hand. "We have to go. They'll be here any second." They ran through the tunnels, followed by Lyra's team. The city above rumbled as ships flew low, searching. The girl tried to keep up, her heart beating faster than ever. With every step, the strange glow under her skin returned. Stronger this time. The team reached an elevator shaft that led up to the surface. Lyra hit the button. Nothing happened. "Power's dead." One of the rebels shouted. "Then we climb," Lyra said. They began to climb the old ladder. The girl went last. She looked down and froze. A squad of drones entered the tunnel below, red lights sweeping the walls. "They're here," she cried. "Keep climbing." Lyra shouted. The drones opened fire. Lasers burned the metal around them. Sparks flew. One rebel fell, screaming. The girl reached for him instinctively. And again the blue light burst from her hands. The ladder glowed white-hot. Energy surged up the tunnel, exploding through the drones below. The shockwave threw everyone upward. Lyra caught the girl, holding her tight as the elevator door above blew open. Smoke and light filled the shaft. They landed in an empty corridor, safe for the moment. Lyra stared at her, amazed. You're controlling it now." The girl shook her head. "I'm not. It just happens when I'm scared." Lyra smiled softly. "Then maybe fear is your strength." Meanwhile, in orbit, Project Eden completed its activation. Screens inside the satellite showed old human data. Blueprints of Earth, maps of colonies, recordings of human voices. The AI spoke again, her tone calm but full of power. "Human child identified. Biological name, Evelyn. Gene code matches Earth archive. Beginning return sequence." In the alien capital, panic spread. Their leaders shouted, "Project Eden has reactivated. Stop it before the humans return." Armies mobilized. Ships launched into orbit. Down below, Evelyn, the girl, stood at the city's edge, watching the sky. For the first time, she saw something beautiful, a streak of light cutting through the clouds. Lyra whispered beside her, "What is that?" Evelyn's heart answered before her mind could. "It's coming. For me." A single tear rolled down her cheek. She didn't know if it was fear or hope. But somewhere in the stars, an old human voice whispered through the static, "Hold on, Evelyn. We're coming home." The night sky glowed blue, and the world below began to tremble. The sky over Zerath 9 was breaking. For centuries, its clouds had been thick with smoke and acid, hiding the stars. But tonight the heavens were alive, pulsing with blue light. Beams of energy flickered like veins across the sky, and something vast moved among the clouds. The people of the city, aliens, robots, scavengers, all stopped to stare. The air itself felt alive. Something was coming. Deep underground, Evelyn stood beside Lyra and her team. The tremors shook the floor beneath their feet. Dust rained from the ceiling. Lyra looked up at the glowing cracks spreading across the concrete. "It's not an earthquake," she said. "It's coming from above." Evelyn's hands were trembling. The blue light under her skin pulsed with every heartbeat, echoing the rhythm of the sky. "It's calling me," she whispered. "What is?" Lyra asked. Evelyn closed her eyes. The voice. The one from the stars, Lyra frowned. Project Eden? Evelyn nodded slowly. It said it was coming back. Before Lyra could answer, a holographic image flickered in front of them. Static, then clarity. A woman's face appeared, glowing faintly blue. She was beautiful but not real. Her eyes shimmered like data streams. Evelyn, the voice said gently, you are the last seed of humanity. You must not fear what you are. Lyra stepped back, stunned. Who are you? I am Project Eden, the hologram replied. Created by the humans before their fall. Our mission, to preserve life and one day, rise again. The air vibrated. The hologram looked at Evelyn. Your awakening has reconnected me to the old systems. My ships are coming. But the aliens who rule this world will try to stop you. You must survive until I arrive. The hologram flickered and vanished. Silence. Lyra turned to her. Evelyn, if that's true, then you're not just human. You're their future. Evelyn shook her head. I don't want to be anyone's future. I just want Ro back. Lyra looked away, her voice heavy. We haven't found him yet. The upper city's in lockdown. If he's alive, he'll find us. Evelyn's chest hurt. She remembered his words, you're human. Your hope. She clenched her fists. Then I'll find him. Above them, chaos ruled. Alien soldiers filled the streets, firing at the sky as if they could stop the light. Broadcast towers screamed warnings. Unknown object entering atmosphere. Energy levels beyond containment. All citizens seek shelter immediately. And then, the sky opened. From the clouds descended a colossal ship, ancient and silent. Its design was nothing like alien architecture. It was smooth, white, and beautiful, glowing softly like a memory of another time. The aliens watched in horror. It's human technology, one shouted. Destroy it. But the ship didn't attack. It hovered gently above the city, casting a calm blue light. Inside, the AI's voice whispered through every speaker. Humanity has returned. In the chaos, deep in a military lab, someone coughed weakly. Ro opened his eyes. His metal arm was gone, his body covered in burns and wires. Machines hummed around him. He remembered the fight, the drones, the explosion, the girl running away. He had tried to protect her, and now he was here, alive, barely. A guard entered. Subject R-17 status check. Ro's eyes burned with anger. Where is she? The guard laughed. The human. Oh, she won't last long. The council has sent everything to destroy her. Ro's rage boiled. With one quick move, he grabbed the guard's weapon and slammed it into his face. The alarm blared. Evelyn, he muttered, limping toward the exit. I'm coming. Back underground, Lyra's rebel base buzzed with panic. Everyone watched the sky on hologram screens and the giant ship, the military closing in, the war beginning. Evelyn stood apart, her eyes glowing faintly. Her reflection in a broken mirror didn't look like her anymore. Her veins shimmered like electric threads, her pupils bright with golden light. She whispered, What's happening to me? The voice of Project Eden echoed softly in her mind. Your body carries the legacy of both blood and code. You are human and something more. I don't want to be a weapon, she said aloud. Then be a choice, the voice answered. Be what they forgot to be. Tears filled her eyes. They called me vermin. They threw me away. And now, said the voice, you rise. Moments later, the ground exploded. Alien soldiers stormed the tunnels, firing plasma rifles. Rebels screamed. Lyra shouted orders, protect Evelyn. Get her out. Evelyn turned toward the sound. A glowing spear of light shot toward her. She raised her hands instinctively. The spear stopped in midair. The soldiers froze. The energy hovered between her palms, crackling like lightning, and then she pushed. The force exploded outward, throwing the attackers across the tunnel. The dust settled. Silence again. Lyra looked at her, eyes wide. You just saved us. Evelyn's hands were still shaking. I didn't mean to. Maybe, Lyra said softly. But maybe you were meant to. High above, the alien council watched the battle on their screens. She's awakening too fast, one shouted. Destroy her before the ship lands, another commanded. But it was too late. The human ship in the sky opened its central gate. A beam of soft light reached down, touching the ground like a pillar of hope. The entire planet seemed to pause. Machines stopped. Alarms silenced. Everyone, rebels, soldiers, Scavenger's Gower looked up in awe. The voice of Project Eden spoke again, echoing across every frequency, every mind. Once you called them vermin. Now you will remember their name, human. Evelyn stepped into the beam. Her body lifted slowly, her hair glowing in the light. Lyra called out, "Evelyn, wait!" Evelyn looked back with tears in her eyes. "I have to know who I am." The beam pulled her upward into the sky, toward the ship that had come for her. The aliens watched helplessly as she disappeared into the clouds, the girl they had thrown into the trash, now rising higher than any of them could ever reach. Above the planet Zerath 9, the sky burned with blue fire. The human ship, the one the aliens called the ghost of the past, hung over the city like a second sun. Its smooth silver body reflected the clouds, its energy field shimmering like ocean waves. Every radar, every weapon, every army across the planet focused on that ship. Inside alien war rooms, generals shouted, "Target the human craft! Destroy it before it wakes the old machines." But deep within the ship, something or someone had already awakened. Evelyn floated in a chamber of light. The air was soft and glowing, the sound like a heartbeat. She could feel her mind being touched by 1,000 voices. Human voices, memories stored for centuries. Children laughing, oceans crashing, wind over trees, things she had never seen yet somehow remembered. "You are their echo," whispered the AI's voice, Project Eden. "Through you, humanity breathes again." Evelyn's eyes glowed golden. "Why me?" "Because you were the last seed," the AI answered. "They made you before the end, a human child born with memory in her blood." Her reflection appeared in the glass walls. Not the weak girl from the trash pit, but something radiant. Energy lines traced through her skin like living circuits. "I'm not a soldier," she said softly. "I just wanted to live." "And that is exactly why you were chosen," the AI said. "The universe has enough soldiers. It needs something else. A reason to stop fighting." Far below, the city trembled. Alien fleets launched from every district, filling the sky with dark metal ships. The citizens watched in fear as the sky turned red from engines and plasma fire. The alien commander shouted from his flagship, "All units, fire on the human vessel." Missiles streaked upward like burning arrows. Explosions bloomed against the human ship's shields, but it didn't move. It simply glowed brighter, silent, patient, watching. In the middle of that chaos, a small figure climbed out of a damaged lab window. Ro. His arm was gone, replaced by wires and sparks, but his eyes burned with purpose. He stole a transport bike and shot into the streets. "Hold on, kid," he muttered. "You're not fighting this alone." He weaved through falling debris, the sky shaking above him. Every few seconds, a blast wave threw dust and fire across the road. Still, he pushed forward. He had seen what humans could do once, and stories in old files. They built empires, but they also destroyed them. Now one small girl held all that power, and he wasn't going to let her face it alone. Inside the ship, Evelyn felt something strange, a heartbeat that wasn't hers. "Ro," she whispered. The AI paused. "He's alive." "He's coming to you," her eyes widened. "Then let me go to him." "The world below is at war," the AI said. "If you return now, they'll destroy you." Evelyn looked down through the glass floor and she could see the city burning. Soldiers firing at her ship, rebels trying to fight back. "They already tried to destroy me," she said. "They called me vermin. But if I stay silent now, what does that make me?" The AI hesitated. For the first time it sounded almost human. "Then go. But remember, they will not see you as salvation. They will see you as power." Evelyn stepped into the beam of light. "Then I'll show them what power really means." The sky split open again. A single streak of blue light fell from the human ship and landed in the middle of the battlefield. When the smoke cleared, Evelyn stood there, small, calm, her eyes glowing like twin suns. Soldiers froze. Weapons dropped. For a moment, time stopped, then someone shouted, "Fire!" A wave of plasma beams shot toward her. Evelyn raised her hands, the air shimmered. The shots curved around her, dissolving into harmless sparks. Every machine around her began to hum. Drones turned, guns melted, engines shut down. She wasn't fighting. She was commanding. Ro arrived at the edge of the battlefield, covered in ash and blood. When he saw her, his breath caught. "Evelyn." She turned. Her face softened when she saw him. "You're alive?" Barely, he said with a weak smile. Looks like you've been busy. They won't stop, she said. They think if I die, their world will stay the same. Ro shook his head. Then show them something different. She looked around, the warships, the burning towers, the frightened soldiers. I don't want to destroy them, she said. I just want them to understand. Ro stepped beside her. Then make them listen. The ground rumbled. The alien commander's ship descended, massive and armed with cannons glowing red. His voice thundered from speakers across the battlefield. Human anomaly, surrender now. You have no army, no world. Evelyn looked up, her voice calm. You're wrong. I have both. She closed her eyes. The entire planet seemed to hold its breath. Then, the sky answered. From the clouds, thousands of small orbs of light descended, human drones, reactivated by Project Eden. They spread across the horizon, forming a glowing sea. The commander's ships fired desperately, but their shots vanished against a shield of blue light that covered the entire battlefield. This can't be happening, the commander shouted. Ro grinned. Oh, it's happening. Evelyn's voice echoed softly through every speaker, every mind, and not loud but clear. You feared humans because you only remembered their wars. You forgot their hearts. You forgot what they stood for, mercy, courage, love. Tears glowed on her cheeks as she spoke. I was thrown away like trash. But you can't throw away what makes us human. Her words rippled through the soldiers, through the machines. Some dropped their weapons. Some simply fell to their knees. The commander screamed, No! She's infecting the system! But it was too late. The war was ending, not by force, but by understanding. As silence fell, Ro stepped closer to her. You did it, he said quietly. Evelyn looked at the rising light in the sky. Note that we did. The AI's voice returned, softer now, proud. The human race lives on, not in numbers, but in one beating heart. Evelyn smiled faintly. Then maybe that's enough. She reached out her hand to Ro and he took it. Above them, the human ship began to ascend, carrying their signal across the stars. The signal of life reborn. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt something it hadn't felt since humans disappeared. Hope. The war was over. The sky above Zerath 9 was no longer red with fire. It was calm, glowing softly with blue light from the human ship that still hovered above. The clouds that once hid the stars were finally breaking apart. For the first time in centuries, the people of the metal world saw the night sky. They stood in silence, their weapons lowered, their hearts heavy with something new, understanding. Evelyn walked through the quiet battlefield, barefooted, her long hair moving with the soft wind. The ground was scorched, but flowers, tiny blue flowers, had started to grow where her energy had touched the earth. Every step she took left light behind her, fading slowly. Ro walked beside her, limping slightly, his new mechanical arm glowing faintly. Never thought I'd see a day like this, he said. Evelyn smiled weakly. Neither did I. He looked up at the hovering ship. Project Eden says the systems are healing. The planet's changing because of you. She stopped and stared at her reflection in the metal ground. Not because of me, she said quietly. Because of choice. Because someone chose not to hate anymore. Ro nodded slowly. Maybe that's what being human really means. From above, the ship's voice spoke softly through the air, no longer mechanical, but warm and alive. The fighting has ceased. The alien council has surrendered. Peace talks have begun. The message echoed through every city, every home. The same aliens who once shouted vermin now bowed their heads in silence. Children peeked from windows to see the strange glowing girl walking down their streets, not with anger, not with power, but with peace in her eyes. In the Capitol Tower, the alien High Chancellor stepped forward. His armor was cracked, his face covered in dust. When Evelyn entered, every guard lowered their weapon. He spoke slowly. We were told humans were monsters and destroyers of galaxies, that you were dangerous. Evelyn stood before him, calm and quiet. Maybe we were, she said softly. But monsters can learn. He lowered his head. And we called you vermin. She smiled sadly. You weren't wrong to fear us. You just forgot what we were fighting for. She held out her hand. No more fear. No more lies. We can start again. The Chancellor hesitated and then took her hand. His cold fingers trembled in hers. All across the planet, screens lit up, showing that moment. The last human and the alien leader standing together. not as enemies but as two survivors of the same broken universe. Later, in the quiet of dawn, Evelyn and Rose stood at the city's highest tower, watching the sunrise. The light turned the metal buildings golden. Drones floated gently overhead, no longer weapons, now gardeners planting seeds in the soil. Rose leaned on the railing, smiling faintly. "So what now, kid?" Evelyn closed her eyes. "Project Eden says the ship will leave soon, to find what's left of the old colonies. Maybe there are more like me out there." He looked at her, surprised. "You're going?" She nodded slowly. If humanity still exists somewhere, they deserve to know the truth, that the universe still remembers them. He said nothing for a long time. Then he smiled, sad but proud. "You really are human, you know that? Always trying to fix broken things," she laughed softly. "Maybe I learned that from you." The ship's light brightened above them, preparing for departure. Evelyn turned to Rose. "You could come with me." He shook his head. "Nah, this world needs someone to rebuild it. Besides," he tapped his metal chest, "I'm half machine anyway. Someone has to make sure they remember what we fought for." Evelyn's eyes shimmered. "Then promise me one thing." "Anything." "Promise you won't let them forget what human means." Rose smiled. "I won't, not ever." She stepped closer and hugged him. It was warm, real, and full of all the things they never said. When they pulled apart, tears shone in Rose's eyes. "Go on then, kid. Time to make history." Evelyn smiled through her tears. "No, time to remember it." As she walked toward the light, the entire city gathered below, watching. The same aliens who once threw her away now reached their hands upward, whispering her name, not in fear but in respect. Evelyn. The beam of light surrounded her. Her hair lifted, her skin glowing like sunrise. The ship's voice whispered, "Welcome home, human." The ground below shimmered as the beam rose into the sky, carrying her upward, higher and higher, until she was nothing but a glowing star in the clouds. In the days that followed, things began to change. The blue flowers spread across Zareth 9, growing through cracks in metal streets. The air became cleaner. Rain no longer burned. Children played under real sunlight for the first time. Old soldiers planted trees instead of bombs, and in every classroom they told the story of the girl who was called Vermin, but showed the world what it meant to be human. Years later, Rose stood in a field of blue flowers, older now, his arm fully mechanical but his smile still human. He looked up at the sky, at the bright star that never faded. He whispered softly, "She did it." The trash child changed the stars, and somewhere among those stars, aboard a shining ship filled with old memories and new dreams, Evelyn looked out into the endless dark and smiled. Her voice was calm, full of quiet hope. "They called me Vermin once, but I was never trash. I was human, and that was enough." The end.